it's like, it's for us. And I'm not looking at it, so whatever. Anyways, hello YouTube, hello Odyssey, hello Rumble.
All right.
Welcome to the AIDS podcast episode 45.
Yep. Okay, so let me show you what's on the food for today. Courtesy of Lady Stone, as soon as it loads, it is Asian style chicken and noodles. Yep. With a sort of yep, basically like my love, quick question. What would you call this style of chicken? Orange chicken, right? No? General Tao? No, what would you call it? Mongolian chicken. Okay, so yeah, it's basically like the flavor of Mongolian beef but applied to chicken. Mm. And it is delicious.
Asian
Yeah.
style chicken and noodle.
But so after you left last time, Andy, for me and Nate decided the next topic should be is media preservation. And media preservation ultimately is just as important as knowledge preservation effectively because
Okay. Interesting.
having a physical recorded copy of something is certainly much better than oral tradition because as we were ending it, the main problem I have with my ancestors and the way they didn't record a lot of their mythological history is that there may be details left out because they only inscribed some things on stone runes and then the rest of it was just oral tradition and it's like one big long game of telephone. Some things are going to get lost into translation. I take it you played that game Telephone in elementary school, right? I don't remember.
Oh, you don't?
Nate,
Well, I
did you
still
play a
do.
game called
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, so but anyone who doesn't know what the game Telephone is about, basically the teacher starts with one kid and you all sit in a circle and they tell one kid something and that other kid, and the goal is to pass along the message as quickly as possible.
I don't
Now,
remember.
the problem is not everybody has great hearing, and someone might hear something entirely different. So by the time the message has completely gone around the circle, it may be entirely different from what it actually is.
Yeah. We actually played a similar one in English class, like, which is much smaller. But somehow we went from like, I don't know, something to do with cloth. Like, I don't know, some kind of like pants or whatever, to having like bananas in the sentence and like, so yeah.
Yeah, again, some people don't speak distinctly, some people don't speak clearly. All manner of things
Some people
happen.
have auditory problems.
Right? But if the teacher writes down the prompt, then everyone knows what it is, because that is a solid, written, recorded medium. So there's literally no chance of ambiguity. But why is this important for, entertainment media? Well, with me still having my channel down, one problem I have is that there is another account that is tied to my original channel. And that had a lot of, YouTube movies I purchased on there. Yeah. And so I no longer have access to them, or I have to convince Google to decouple that account from my old channel.
Oh no.
And that's the frustration in and of itself. But that is like why media preservation and having actual physical media is important. If you are cut off from the source of the digital access to that media, and you can't access that media anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you don't have your if that was one of your favorite movies or favorite games on there, you are screwed. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I'm especially worried, like, about the games because, Steam is like, very big market, but as far as I know, like, they don't like give you like, the physical copies or like give you, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
like this is
when the servers like, get fucky, then you have a
Yep. I
problem.
know what you're talking
And
about. Yeah.
if Steam like went to fucking explode, then yeah, all your games are gone.
Mhm.
Cry about it.
Yep, this is why I have my several terabyte hard drive and I've made backup copies of these games because you never know. You know?
Mhm.
You never know if Steam just goes kaput one day and it never comes back online. If that is
Yeah.
the case, all those games you've bought, which could be upwards of $300, $400, $500, all gone. Yeah.
Same with
A lot
like,
of people
movies.
don't. Go ahead, Nate.
Especially, before like, in today's like age of the streaming platforms, only some people still get like, the discs because they like it or, they wanna to be able to play it at any time, anywhere. So, they bring it along or something. Even though again, like, it's, for example, if there's no internet,
Yeah. That
but
is bad.
again, like, it's um the platforms are like, available, they're easy, but also not everything is on everything. And
Mm-hmm.
also sometimes the movies or TV shows just, disappear because like, their license on that platform runs out. And
Yep.
again, you are done. You have to turn into like, the other thing and, just so having it physically on a on a DVD or something, it's, it's good.
Mm-hmm. Imagine one day if the internet in its entirety just goes out. You know, you have no idea when it will be back up. You know, you are forced to entertainment based on whatever is physically capable of, turning on with electricity or, you know, whatever is, you can put in your hands. If you
Yeah.
don't have access to any of that, you're going to be really bored for a really long time.
We're gonna start carving stones again and
What'd you
wood.
say?
Yeah, you're gonna start carving stones and wood again.
Yep. Yep. I mean, not that that wouldn't be bad habits to take up.
Mm.
um, but actually, oddly enough, one sort of theory I've been mulling about, and it's based on sort of like
Hmm.
old age mysticism that doesn't have like any proof to it. This is complete conspiracy gobbledygook. And it's the idea that human civilizations actually existed longer than about 15,000 years ago. There were potentially human civilizations that were like 50,000 years old. And, actual cities, like possibly the theory of Atlantis and everything, and they were just destroyed by a calamity. But the biggest contention everyone has with that, it's like, okay, well, if we reach civilization 50,000 years ago when Neanderthals were still walking the earth, then why is there nothing recorded about that civilization? And one theory is that no one valued actually writing anything down yet, because the thing that they valued was possession of knowledge. And the leadership there basically said, we're the only ones allowed to know anything. And so when their civilization hit calamity, naturally it was destroyed with no trace. And everyone was basically bumped back down in age because nobody knew how to rebuild it. So that is, if it's true, that is probably the most sound theory as to how it might possibly happen or have happened. I
By the
mean,
way, this reminded me of like a question I had. If a
mhm,
species could become you know a sapient, but be not social, and it's basically impossible because if you again if the people who learned stuff and knew it, if they only kept it to themselves, then if they would die, the knowledge would die with them, and it's back to square one.
mhm,
For and someone would stumble upon a house that's better built than theirs, and what the fuck, how did this happen?
mhm.
So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
It's not that they're not a social species.
I mean we are, but
Yeah,
again, like,
but the idea is that if a civilization existed 50,000 years ago, there is every chance they didn't value recording this information because, again, they were very possessive of it. They're like, this is ours. Only us in the elite circle know about any of this stuff. But then nature says, okay, what if the elite circle all dies? What do you do then? And it's like, the answer is, you're all fucked. And everybody who survived has to start now from square one because you chose to hoard all the knowledge.
mhm.
And it's, again, it's if it's possible that there were civilizations 50,000 years ago and there's just no recorded knowledge, that is probably why.
I mean, I'm looking at the time period, and it's
Yeah.
early, Stone Age period, and
I mean,
so
technically,
I mean,
we had cities in the Neolithic,
yeah.
which which the end of the Neolithic was about 15,000, 17,000 years ago, somewhere in there. But that is when the first, recorded items came about. The first stone tablets and everything. Um, that detailed, different stories or different ideas and everything. And so basically, and that was really also when cities that lasted, long periods of time actually started. You know, let's see, what is that city in Syria? That's supposed to be the oldest city ever. Um, let's see, I'm looking that up on my phone right now.
Wait, what the fuck? What? I'm still on the wiki page, and
What?
one of the oldest surviving ceramic figure in the world is from the fucking Czech Republic.
Really?
Venus of Donivě Stonice. Whoa, that's cool.
I just looked this up. The two oldest cities in the world are Damascus and Aleppo, both of which showed up about 10,000 and 6,000 BC.
Where are they? Or
In
where
Syria.
are they? Ah, yeah, okay. I knew those sounded familiar.
Yeah, which I imagine around that time they were much more fertile areas. That's the thing I learned in history class that those areas were called the Fertile Crescent for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
Yeah.
the Tigris and Euphrates River created very farmable land there.
That's why humans flocked to it
Hmm?
and settled. Yeah, that's why humans, flocked to it, settled there, and, started
Yeah,
stuff.
and this is why it is important to write down and have physical copies of knowledge.
Yes. So you can know when and what happened, how did they know to do this, and, everything else.
Hmm.
And read their bedtime stories at the time.
Hmm.
Because that is, that is also an interesting, uh, part to me at least, like what kind of stories and fairy tales they told at the
Hmm.
time.
Because otherwise, all we have are fossils or artifacts to make guesses. You know, um, and that's the thing. This is why even media preservation is important because basically, think of this: how would let's, like I said, say our internet goes down, and an alien civilization wants a piece of our entertainment. We would need something physical to give them if we cannot beam any of our internet to them, you know?
I would just present my books, like,
Yep.
here.
But DVDs, something physical that they can access, you know?
Mhm.
And it's important, like I said, not only just to translate knowledge, but to, keep what we have. It's
Yeah.
like I said, you never know how the rules change one day because life's always unpredictable, Life can always throw you curveballs.
Like rules, like what is allowed on.
What's allowed on a
platform.
platform, what you're allowed to say, and
I mean,
or
hey, technically, you'll be always able to say anything, but
almost
the consequences of saying that will change.
that too.
So, yeah.
But at the same time, let's say, you say something on, PlayStation Network, and for whatever reason they have, PlayStation Network decides we didn't like what you said, so we're removing you from the service. Basically, now all of your PlayStation Network games as well are not accessible. The only thing that you have are the actual physical copies of the games that you can play without PlayStation Network.
I mean, again, that's like, the consequence of your words.
Yeah,
It's a, like, it's a large one, I guess. So, but yeah.
yeah, in a sense, yeah. But again, this is why physical media will always be important. Why
Yeah, and
recorded
to
knowledge.
me, superior, a bit
Huh?
above, like, to me, like, physical media will be superior.
Well, that too, because on top of this, it's like, let's say maybe the internet doesn't go away, but what if it slows down massively? Like, there's this episode of South Park that's actually really funny.
Slows down massively. Okay, you mean how it was when I was a youngin? When
Yeah,
I
what
was
if it
like, when I was like, a wee 9-year-old trying to play my internet games and waiting
basically,
like 15
basically,
minutes
yeah,
for it to load.
yeah. You're sitting here watching the screen buffer,
Yeah,
to
or not sitting. You just like go get a snack and then come back. It's still 5 minutes. Okay, I'll go to the bathroom.
yep.
All that.
The
So
internet
yeah.
back in those days. But yeah, what if the internet goes back to that level of speed for whatever reason, and you're wanting to play this game, but it's moving really slow because it's downloading really, really slow.
Hmm.
So it's like, what's the point in playing if you can't enjoy yourself because it's not moving at the speed you want it to move at?
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Oh yeah, the episode of South Park in question. Um, for it's a really stupid reason and it's really funny. Um, um, but the internet for like nearly the entire country goes down. All Everybody's like, "Oh my god, there's no more internet. What do we do?" But they found out there's a little bit of internet in Silicon Valley, in California. So everybody literally sets up tents just in a field in Silicon Valley and gets rationed internet.
Internet. Dang.
Yeah, there's this one dude like trying to check his emails. He gets like 30 minutes, and like the guards are like, "All right, time's up." And he's like, "No, wait, I have to send this last email."
Uh-huh. Wowza.
And Randy, Stan's dad, Andy, you could probably relate to this, and oddly, because his name is one letter away from yours. Yeah, Randy Stan's dad. He got so used to internet porn that he was spoiled by it. But the problem is the way to access the internet is public, so he can't exactly whip it out and start spanking it there. So,
Oh no. It's okay.
yeah,
It's okay.
so he sneaks into where they keep the computer. And he gets on there and starts jerking off in there.
SMH, addiction.
Tell me, Andy.
You have like a good erotic books. Come on.
No.
But tell me, Andy,
You don't need
would you
internet
do the
for
same
that.
thing? Probably not. You wouldn't risk it. No. But it is hilarious. But the hilarious resolution is that apparently the source of all internet is a gigantic modem in a basement somewhere in Silicon Valley. And the problem was that
Probably not.
like with all internet, you have to unplug it, leave it
No.
unplugged for about 10 seconds, and then plug it back in.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
everybody's internet was restored.
Mm.
And that's the funny thing. It's like sometimes the simple explanation for things is both stupid, but at the same time the most logical, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
you know, it's the law of Occam's razor, as they call it. Have you guys heard of that? Yeah.
No.
You never heard the law of
I
Occam's
have
razor,
not.
Nate?
What's that?
Again,
No.
the law basically states sometimes the simplest explanation is the most logical explanation.
Hmm.
Like, everyone tries to discern
Makes
reasons
sense.
for, like, why some villains or, you know, just bad people in society do things. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's just a very simple explanation. Money, or avoiding responsibility, or just, you know, everyone tries to come up with these complicated explanations, but it's like, nah, they just wanted this. That's it. No. Like, to make it more relatable, like, Nate, Zamasu's explanation as to why he does everything he does in Super. Really, I think the simple explanation is that he just hates existence.
Well,
Wouldn't you
yeah,
say?
existence of of anything mortal. Yeah,
Yeah. He just hates.
mortals are icky.
He's just a hater. You know? And
Mortals bad. Way I'm gonna cry.
yep. And
Mortal stole my it stole my my fucking tea bags. Yeah, for tea leaves.
yeah.
I'm a kill it now. You.
And Andy, like, the explanation we're looking for why Belial is doing everything he's doing in Zatch Bell 2, what if the explanation is Yamamoto slept with his wife? And it'd be funny, but at the same time, it would explain everything. He's like, you guys sent us to a planet, and you know what? To a different dimension. You know what? I could have dealt with that, but then you had the nerve to sleep with my wife. I mean, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Unique,
That would be
but at
pretty
the same
funny.
time, it's simple. It makes him filled with enmity and not needing a complicated reason for doing what he's doing, you know? It's like, at the same time, it's like, you understand, it's like, yeah, a guy can get that hateful just for that reason alone.
Oh,
You know?
damn.
Hmm.
That would be interesting.
But,
It would be a very unique explanation.
We're getting close to Morocco's walk time, but we'll leave it out to closing thoughts. Nate, what is your closing thoughts on media preservation?
Yeah, I think it should be like the physical media. It should be like given to you, even like when you purchase something digitally. It could be like if or you could have the option like to decide like if you also want the physical copy or if you just are okay with digital. Of course, like the physical would be a bit more expensive to cover like the material and shipping, for example.
I mean,
But I would go
realistically,
for it because again, physical media is um it's just again it's just a precaution,
there
I
for you.
guess. Again, if the internet services goes to dust.
Yeah, I mean,
So the
honestly, if
physical
you
media
purchase
would rely on it.
a digital copy of something, a physical copy should be only like $5 or $10 because it really doesn't cost that much to burn a CD. It really doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a
So
CD
so
is
yeah.
like,
Or you could even have it on like, a separate flash drive or something. I don't know. Again.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Andy, what are your closing
But yeah.
thoughts on physical media? Yeah, like I said, I think like if you do buy a digital copy of something, like a physical copy should be like $5 or $10 for just the cost of the actual physical CD and the shipping cost, and then that's it. Because you've already bought the
Yeah,
product
and
in and of
also like,
itself.
yeah.
I think physical
Yeah,
media
you would like, give
should be treated
like
very
if it was like
importantly
a
and should
physical
be
store or
preserved.
something, for
And
them as well. You could give them like
digital
a proof
media
of
should never be
purchase.
the answer.
And,
Yeah, it's like I've already paid the cost for the intellectual property itself. I have paid the actual artists their fee. Now I'm just paying the manufacturers their fee to burn it and give it to me. You know?
Mhm.
You know? But that will be our show. I'm getting back in the saddle with Zach Bell. I think I've got a solid idea on how to upload everything to YouTube. I've got everything uploaded on Rumble and Odyssey as well. And I'm uploading clips to TikTok because TikTok does not enforce its copyright at all. YouTube is really the only platform we've really had copyright issues with. Because that is the frustration right there, because YouTube is a garbage platform that somehow is just the biggest one out there. that's the frustrating part about it. But we'll figure it out. We are figuring it out. But yeah, Nate, go ahead and close us out.
Goodbye, YouTube. Goodbye, Rumble. Goodbye,
Yeah.
Odyssey. This has been the Idiots Podcast.
Yep. Give me a second. Let me stop Craigbot here. And stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.